Senior in biotechnology here at York College. Before I introduce my project, let me tell you a little bit about my background because it was very crucial to how it got to where I am right now as a researcher at York College. So coming out of high school, I found out that I was an undocumented student, meaning I was limited on where I could go for college. So I ended up going to community college, got a majored in business, associate of arts in business, and from there my friend told me about the CUNY system. And when I found out about the CUNY system, that it was very supportive towards undocumented students, and when I looked at the different schools, I found out about York College and its biotechnology program, and I was like, well, I'm sold, I have to go here. Wow. So upon going to York College, I started working at a lab in fruit flies, studying the social behavior of fruit flies under the mentorship of Dr. Ann Simon. And from there, everything was smooth sailing. So before I talk about my project, I want to say I have to thank Dr. Ann Simon for being my research mentor, Dr. Levenger for being my mentor, and several faculty from the biology departments, from the physics department and the academic achievement center, because everything that I have accomplished would not have been if it wasn't for them. Wow. So if you got some mind, please give a hand of applause for that. Thank you. So my research with Dr. Simon is studying asocial behaviors associated with neuropsychiatric disorders such as autism, schizophrenia, and the fruit flies. And we're using two different approaches. We're seeing how genes affect the social behavior of fruit flies, and how dopamine levels affect the social behavior of fruit flies. So we found out in one of our projects where we're looking at the role of how dopamine affects social behavior, that dopamine has an effect on the social space of fruit flies. So fruit flies are around one body length from each other, and as we increase the levels of dopamine, fruit flies are much closer together, while as you decrease the levels of dopamine, these fruit flies are much farther apart. And when we tested avoidance in these fruit flies, dopamine seemed to have no effect. While in a different project where we're using a candidate gene for autism in humans known as neurobekin, but in the fruit flies known as rugose, a loss of function of this gene has an effect on social avoidance. So these experiments are helping me understand better how candidate genes for autism or dopamine levels have an effect on social behavior of fruit flies, and hopefully how it will relate to humans in the long term. And because of my hard work and the guidance of the different departments in the school, I recently, so I'm graduating this semester and I'm going to Yale University for a PhD program. So once again, thank you, York College, for everything.
Now we're going to hear from Valerie, and she's going to tell us, so introduce yourself, tell us your department, and a little bit about your research.
Hi, my name is Valerie Rowland. My major is Health Promotion Management. I'm doing my internship next door at the HPC Center, the Health Promotion Management Center. My director is Dr. Ray Marks, and my other director is Dr. Alichuco. So far, for basically the whole semester, we've been accumulating,
Yes.
We've been accumulating obesity, the epidemic in York College, faculty and students. And obesity basically is just 20% over your normal body weight percentage. So our study was basically from February to March 2013. We accumulated our BIA, body index analysis, and our body mass index. And from the men's percentage, our underweight was 4.9% as underweight, normal was 47%, overweight was 30%, and obese was about 16% for men. And so for females, we had underweight as 9%, normal as 53%, and overweight as 29%, and obese as 12%. Accumulating overweight and obese for females was larger than men, and we collected over 182 clients and altogether from February to March. And in conclusion, we wanted our faculty and students to be aware that body fat is not to be a joke, or is it not to take lightly. We want to more exercise, eat more fruits and vegetables, and we want to basically just keep tab of what we take in and how we exercise every day. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Valerie. Again, your name, your department, and a little bit about your project.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mohamed Fatah. I'm from the aviation management. Before I start, I'd like to thank a few people around. President Case for her leadership and enthusiastic support. Provost Dr. Griffith for his leadership and introducing the research on wide scale to the York College. I was aware that before you came, it was very limited, and you helped around to introduce it in more departments. I'd like to thank Dr. Nat for helping and supporting the research program. But I want to thank two special people, and the reason that I'm standing right now is because of them. It's Dr. Oladipo and my outstanding advisor, Dr. Sue. And I'm pretty sure Dr. Oladipo is relaxed right now because I'm not causing any troubles right now. Otherwise, he'll be running.
The day is not over. So.
Yes, as of right now. Otherwise, he'll be running around after me and saying, "Young man, I'll jump on your head." So I would like to thank them, and I'd like to have a shout out for my aviation buddies right there in the back. Thank you. Research project I worked along with Dr. Sue was based on Southwest Airlines merger with AirTran, and basically these very specific topics. So I don't know how each one of you are very aware of that, but you should join us in 2B06 to have more in-depth knowledge of Southwest Airlines with the merger. But basically what we try to find out is the need for the merger, why merge, and what are the benefits Southwest Airlines is getting right now and with their future plan. So please join us in 2B06, and thank you very much for joining us today.
I think we have time for maybe one or two questions. Is there any, I have a couple I could ask, but if, are there any outstanding questions that people have? Okay, I guess what I would like to know is, you know, from each of you, is maybe what are your future plans? We've heard from Robert, but if we can just go down the line, and if you guys can say what you either are in the process of doing or what you'd like to do, that would be one thing. And I think the second thing I'd like to ask you to speak to is for students who might be considering research in your area, what would be a good reason for them to go ahead and just go forward with it if they're having any hesitation?
Well, basically at this time, I'm in the process of waiting for, I applied to some PhD programs, and I'm waiting to still hear from one. I applied to a master's program, so I'm not totally sure of where I'll be going in the fall, but wherever I go, I want to continue my education. I also want to become a professor at the university level, and to promote and to decrease the deficiency of people's knowledge of history. The question asking about research in terms of in my field. Well, I believe that it's important in history is that, you know, many times history has been, you know, written by the victors. But I believe that anybody who comes into the history department or becomes a history major can help to contribute to, you know, rewriting history. Being historiographers and looking at history from all perspectives so that we can have a better understanding of history and not a history being created by the victors, but a history created by the many different cultures that we have in our world today. Thank you.
Thank you. What are your future plans, and what about students thinking about research in your area? What advice do you have?
I'm basically, I'm working in a daycare currently as of this moment. And I'm trying to get the parents aware of their health and what they feed their children and about activities towards the children. So I'm looking forward into branching out into establishing more daycares and health programs for the community. And anyone interested in interning or working in the health promotion field, I advise you that, you know, it's something you need to love and something you need to look into. And, you know, health is, you know, we see it every day. And so I think, you know, it's anything you can take in and then give out to the community. Thank you.
Thank you. My long-term goal is to work for a biotechnology company in the long run, studying neurodegenerative disorders or how to find therapeutic drugs against viruses. And for anyone considering a career in PhD, the biology and the biotech program at your college build a strong foundation that will prepare you for those programs. And if you don't feel that you're ready, you could always do research with several of the biology or chemistry faculty. And even then, if you're not ready, you could always do a post-baccalaureate or work as a technician to gain more experience. If you really want to do research, if you're passionate about it, then just go for it and don't let anything get in your way.
You all expect a funny answer? Future plan is just... You probably think I'm causing trouble right now. But the future plans are trying to get an MBA in business field and then hopefully go for a doctorate as a long-term goal. And since York has given too much to me, I'm planning to come back and teach here one day in the future. Why research in
You know, if students are interested in your area, what words of
I think research, before even I research, I used to think you need to be a genius to perform such a research. I used to be like, wow, look at these posters board all over the places. But then I just found out all you need to have is a good mentor and someone who really supports you, and you really don't need to be a genius. If you guys like to travel into a glamorous world, meet people, meet celebrities, and want to make money, aviation is the place. You can work anywhere in the world, any place, and I guess that's it. Money is important.
Thank you. That's lovely answer. And before we thank the students speakers, I'd really like to have a special round of applause for Robert and for his mentor, Ann Simon, because I think the level of courage that it takes to come forward and talk about the experience of being undocumented is, in my mind, unfathomable. And I really admire you for your openness, and I salute you, and I think the rest of us do, for your achievement. So I'd like Ann to stand, and I'd like us to give him a special round of applause. And the good news is it recently was resolved, so that's even better. Okay, now, would you like to say something? Okay, the provost has a few words for
I want to pick up on something that Robert said and embarrass another student in the audience. Robert talked about the faculty in the biotechnology and biology program. And there is another student who is going on to a PhD program. Incidentally, unlike what many students and some faculty think, you don't have to get a master's before you get a PhD. You can go from the bachelor's straight to the PhD if you've got it. And so we've got a pipeline program, and Robert Johnson is in that program, that enables you to go from bachelor's to PhD with support. There's another student, Patrick, he's sitting on my right, who is also going on to his PhD on the West Coast. Patrick Menzies. So when I asked Patrick about 6 weeks ago, tell me a little bit about plans and background, Patrick came to York to do his biotech, having had a first degree already. from Dr. Mitra's school.